Wound, pages 48 through 60. People are not allowed to own land until they can serve in the assembly at the age of 16. Royals serve for life until they resign to an abdicate or the representative subject populace votes their termination. All abdicates have to be approved by the Royal House of Senators and the representative subject populace. The Senate meets in House every Tuesday and Thursday via video conference. They meet on Wednesday among the International Cooperative House. Each meeting lasts from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The cooperative holds to a 3-day weekend. Monday is used for what we typically refer to as paperwork. Cooperative citizens work a 4-day week though most businesses are open 24/7, 365. It is not expected that anyone works on Fridays because of the weekly dance, though most schedules rotate work time, so everyone is guaranteed at least 2 Fridays off a month. The representative subjects can log on to the Senate in House at any time, receive notifications for votes. A full work week is 32 hours a week, 46 weeks a year, 6 weeks of vacation time at 4 days a week. The minimum pay is $20 per hour in our money, with a take-home of $10 in a world where an average $5 meal costs 25 cents. Everyone is bloodbound to Charlemagne when he converted to Socrates on the winter equinox of the year 800, and he declared that every royal must marry a subject. He also adopted the direct democratic monarchy system to guarantee a thinking Senate and representative. Marital bonds united the kingdoms via a tie to the peasant class by blood and matrimony. Charlemagne adopted a system of uniting and diplomacy over war and conquest. As you can see, 800 AD had more in common with 1700 AD. This Charlemagne was less Attila the Hun and more Benjamin Franklin. 400 years later, and we have a completely different world that's been at peace for 20 generations. In our time, this was the period of the Crusades and the Norman conquests as Christianity and Islam vied for position in Europe and the Middle East. Since Socrates was so knowledgeable, reasonable, and logical, no one made up the Jesus or Muhammad myths to fill a void. The Bible itself does not exist. The Torah does not extend it into any sort of New Testament. Many Jews saw Charlemagne as the Messiah and converted to Socrates, even though Charlemagne is not officially accepted as any kind of God, since Socrates does not have any God. The Quran was not even written. Most Arabs also converted from tribal roots through diplomatic talks after 800. The religion of Socrates used to include 90% of civilization, though it has waned for technological advancement and lectures on science with high entertainment value. People prefer specifics, and with that, religion begins to wane. Even a religion like Socrates, with a 1700-year history, no gods, embracing nonviolent means of conversation in science. People are individualistic and independent within the realm and prefer decision-making over dogmatic mannerisms. People like doing things on their own. A lot of people have traded religion for a Bible of sorts and the book of everything useful, but it has more in common with an Encyclopedia Britannica than the Holy Bible, and there is a vast resource of knowledge in libraries and over the internet. Most know Socrates from Plato's Republic. The Republic was never tossed into the mix as a religious text. Neither was the Trial of Socrates, though all these books painted a clear picture of Socrates as a martyr, teacher, and the man Socrates was not worshipped. The main crucible of Socrates was to question authority and to examine the evidence that pushing some books at followers would have been antithetical to the consciousness of science. The monks instead chose to read to to the flock from any book explaining science as a methodology or findings that this religion was effectively a religion of science. Socratia encompasses 10% of the population and is the largest religion on the planet. The ceremonial day is Friday morning. The people love science more than they love waking up on their day off to hear the things a monk wants to say when they could just watch a science talk over the internet at any time, any day of the week. The monks are still very friendly and very effective organizers of the cooperative library system. Should Socrates disappear, the monks would intensely be defended, even in a time where all the books are online, for the sanctuary of a quiet place to study and to relieve the psyche from mental and physical strain. There's nothing quite like a place in public to take a nap, read an internet, and the monks provide that free of charge with a library card. The nap rooms are like those Japanese coffin-sized hotel rooms. They each provide a 7-foot-long bed and a pillow and a fleece blanket. Patrons may sleep or rest for 2 hours. The libraries by law must provide at least 10 beds, but at most, the larger libraries provide access to 20 beds. Taxes pay for all the services the library system has to offer. Patrons generously also donate to the library so much funding that 3 meals are served per day. The libraries are open 24/7, 365. Everyone in the cooperative with a job is given a home. The homeless shelters lend sleeping arrangements for the unemployed. Food may be cheap, but even with the $1,000 per month stipend, an apartment can cost up to $800 per month for a small studio. Utilities, including electric, are lawfully included in the price of the rent. The population of Earth at this time still reflects the year 1200 because the decadal census count only roused that number to be 400 million, including non-urban tribes. The astronauts, having just launched from the space station, have 4 months in space before landing on the red planet. Technology growing faster than population, it is easy to predict that the next springboard crank will cut that time in half. The Royal Cooperative is a fascinating mix of old and new. Those harpsichord-driven Friday night parties sponsored by the government are raucous. While the tone might be classical with medieval minstrel music, these are hardly ballroom dances. The slower stuff is at the tempo of Johnny B. Good, while the quickest rave techno outside London in the early 2000s. That good old scratchy harpsichord of Vivaldi and Bach meets the syncopation of Tupac Shakur in the easiest way to describe it. Throw in a little Def Leppard stylings in some measure, and we're reaching the insanity were you not to remember Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, because almost every symphony is in movements to last a good 10 minutes in each piece. It would be like if Beethoven met every party anthem from 1970 to 2015. These are the fast movements, to be sure. This is no slow dance. People are here to cut a rug from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. every Friday for 6 hours at a stretch. Women who attend have to be between 16 to 25 years old, and men from 35 to 55 years old. This is a mating dance to find a spouse and to have children one day. The Friday dance is the hottest club every week. The food can be bought on a food stipend card. There is as much variety as a state fair. Women past 25 aren't allowed to get married or have kids. This is the one point in life where you are given a chance. There's a bar as stocked as any today. Men wait for this dance for 35 years. The dance teaches mature adult behavior while providing the wildest tradition 52 nights a year. It doesn't get much better than Friday nights in the realm in every city and town on the planet. The electricity at no time necrotizes one day a weekend. Condoms are sitting to grab from bowls at every food stand around the stage for no charge. The music is so loud every child is required to take sign language even through graduate school for at least an hour a day from age 3. the purpose of which is explicitly understood as a means to reproduce in the decibel-rich mating ritual to find a partner. There is no sex at the dance. Self-flying cars connect the city as ride shares. Gays are not discriminated against for population control. The dancing is wild. There are spins, slides, dips, do-se-dos, flips, and new improvements at every thrust. The urgency echoes the black dance parties of the 1950s in our version of America. Think Dirty Dancing. There are kicks, fake-outs, scrams, boogies, snaps, waltzing, and all at the same dance on the same day every week. Party hardy. You have until you're 26, woman. This is the one zazzle you have to marry a man. These dances are not like going to the club in 2017 with lights, predictable syncopation, and prissy girlfriends hooking up with douchebaggy clones. This is early rock and roll on the wood rafters and sweat before Elvis had his pelvis on to the national scene. Before Elvis hulaed his pelvis onto the national scene. Here the lighting is minimal white light that neither strobes nor reflects off the disco ball, glitter, tinsel, or any mirror. The syncopation is rock and roll, not hip-hop. There are many time and key changes. The rhythm is triple fast. The instruments are always harpsichord, hand drum with mallet, lute, flute, and shawm. The quintet is jazzy though classical in feel. When the days are warm, the dance is held outside until midnight, followed by a half-hour intermission and a convening indoors until 3 a.m., preceded by a 2:30 to 3 o'clock slowdown until an ushering of dancers to the door. Food is always served indoors with tables in a gym size, that of a football field. The indoors section is on the lobby floor at the castle on the dance floor. The outdoor section is on a dirt paddock covering a 1.5 miles in back of the building, surrounding by a chain-link fence. The harpsichord is on wheels and is rolled carefully indoors at the intermezzo. There are living quarters in this castle from floor 1000 up until the 1500. The first floor contains restaurants and bars along with the dance hall and lounge area. Almost everyone in the city lives in this one building. The lower to elite class live here. The schools are here. The exercise gyms are here. The royalty live in the top part of this 5-mile tall building, 1.5 miles wide. 50,000 live in the Castle Marseille building. The scene is similar in bigger cities, which aren't quaint agricultural and farming villages. The big established countries in Europe and Britannia, Hispaniola, also known as Spain in our timeline, France and Germania, which is Germany in our timeline, Italia, which is Italy, and Greegypt, which is a combination of Greek and Egypt. The rest of Europe are small village countries. There is 1 square mile, 0.5 of land technically owned by the marquises and marquises for the farmers market, open every Saturday from April to October. Even with synthetic food, the market bustles. It is open from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Friday largely is for Socrati, but only a 10th study at the Socrati nucleus, open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Most people just stay home or recreation. The homeless shelter is really a traveler lodge. Some people go to escape the chaos of a home for a break. There are people who tent travel the countryside with no more than a backpack. There is the trouble of population growth, and there is a solution of building the castle bigger. Parts are assembled nearby and popped into place like Legos. The chateau look of the entire structure and the miles and miles of land unused across France and every other part of the world opens plenty of space to expand the building of the castle as people breed. Couples are expected to only have one child. Those who do not follow the rules and have their second child taken away and given to a needy couple in another city.